Hi everybody, this is the third video in a three-part series of the upgrades I've been doing to my 2017 Indian Chieftain Limited. In the first video, we upgraded my air intake to a VooDoo air intake, which allowed the bike to allow more air to flow into the engine and use for combustion. In the second video, we upgraded the exhaust using the FuelMoto Jackpot Head Pipe, which basically deletes the catalytic converter and allows a more free-flowing exhaust. So now that the bike can take more air in and push more air out more effectively, the third part is we now need to upgrade the tune to allow the bike to run more efficiently, and the way that I chose to do that is through the DynoJet Power Vision CX that I purchased through FuelMoto. Now, there isn't a lot of videos or how-tos on how to do this on an Indian motorcycle. Now, the Power Vision CX does differ from the normal Power Vision or some of the other tuners that Harley Davidson uses. So I wanted this to be an all-inclusive from unboxing to the final mapping and installation of the map onto the bike. So a lot of times on the internet what you see is it'll show like one or two pieces of that puzzle, but in this video I'm going to go through the complete unboxing, what software we need to download onto the computer, how to make sure we have the most up-to-date software for the computer, how to connect the actual Power Vision CX module to the computer and verify that the firmware that's on the module is the most up-to-date. Once that's done, then we're ready to connect it to the motorcycle and then retrieve the actual stock tune from the bike. And on the Power Vision CX, what you need to do is you need to retrieve that tune and then send that tune with the stock file in an email to whoever your tuner is going to be. I used FuelMoto. So what we're going to do is we're going to take the tune from the bike, save it to the computer, take it from the computer, provide it in an email to FuelMoto, and then usually within a day or two, I happen to get mine back the same day. They sent the modified tune back to me with the parameters of the new intake and exhaust, etc. And then we're going to go over how to get that tune and modify it. Like, for example, I want to increase my idle a little bit because I noticed my bike, the idle is set at 800 revolutions per minute after it reaches full temperature. But what happens is, sometimes when I'm initially taking off and the bike really isn't like been running a while, it may stall. So what I want to do is I want to raise that up to 900 RPMs. So there's an easy way to do that. I'm going to show you how to go in and look at those parameters, or you could not modify anything. Take the tune that you're going to get from your tuner, like mine was from FuelMoto, and then transfer that to the motorcycle and then verify it's complete, and we're all done. So once we get started, we're going to unbox it and read the instructions, and then I'm going to show you how we're going to get the software on the computer. Alright, so before we do anything with the actual Power Vision CX tuner, we have to set up our computer. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to right click on my desktop and I'm going to go to New Folder, and then I'm going to name it PVCX. And anything I do from now on, I'm going to basically put into that folder. Once we do that, then we're going to open up. Now, excuse me, I made my icons really big, to make it easier to see, because I know it's kind of difficult to see the desktop. So I'm going to go into Google, and I'm just going to type in DynoJet Power Vision CX. And then if I scroll down, it says right here, Power Vision CX for Indian motorcycles. We click on that, and then you can go to Products, Tunes. It's asking if I want to go to the newsletter. So I normally go to the Power Vision CX for Indian and Victory. And once that's done, we need to download the Power Core software that you see right here. And this basically walks through it tells you what you can do and how the Power Core software works, etc. So now we're going to go to support and go down to downloads. So here we go, Power Vision CX is highlighted. I click on that, and then we're going to download the Power Core software suite. And you see that downloaded down here. And then we're going to download the Power Vision CX update client, which also shows up down here. And then we're going to go down to the firmware and go to the Power Vision CX firmware for Polaris, Indian, and Victory. Now we may not need this, but I'm going to download it just in case. Now there is a quick start guide, but I got mine from FuelMoto and they always include the quick start guide with it. So we can close this out, and now all of my downloads go directly to my downloads folder. So if you're not sure where yours go, make sure that it may prompt you to save or save as. If that was an option, I would have saved it to the PVCX folder I created, but I know that mine is going to go to my downloads folder. So I go to my file explorer right here, it's that icon, and then I scroll down right here to downloads. It's a little folder with a down arrow on it, and then here you can see the files to be downloaded. So what we got to do is I'm going to wait for those downloads to confirm, and then we're going to install them. So once that's done, we'll come back. All of the downloads have completed, and you see the Power Core software actually downloaded the file itself. It's about 62 meg. The other two, the update client and the latest firmware, came in a zip file. So the first thing I'm going to do is click on the Power Core software, and then I'm going to install that. So you double click it and it'll basically walk us through a bunch of prompts. It's asking if we want to install this on our hard drive. Yes, we do. And then it'll go through the terms that you should read, like I did, of course, the entire thing, and then accept and accept. It's going to ask you where you want to install it. It'll normally put it in the program file since it is an application, so it'll install it in your program files that you currently have, where all your other programs on your computer download. So we'll do that. Then you could select which part of the suite you want to install. We're going to install all of them. It's going to create a desktop shortcut, and it's going to ask about data collection and firewall exceptions. I normally just leave that there because I don't use this program that much, so it's not really going to hurt anything, but that's up to you if you want to do that. If you're not really familiar with those settings, I would leave them all checked and hit next, and then finally install. So that's going to walk through the installation process, and then when we go and it shows all complete, we should be able to go onto our desktop and see the application, right? So we hit finish. If I minimize this, minimize the thing, and there it is right here. That's the Power Core. So we can open that up and check it out. So again, this is just the part of the installation that we're doing so that our computer can talk to the Power Vision, right? So the computer needs to talk to the Power Vision, and the Power Vision needs to talk to the bike. And here are the three things. You can click on applications, and it basically shows the same thing. The tools, you can manage your hardware. Now if you have multiple bikes and you want to have different licenses, you could do that. Like one Power Vision can be used for multiple bikes, but you have to get a separate license. So let's just open up the tuning software. Now it's not really going to do anything because we don't have a tune or anything where we would open or save as, and because we're not configured yet to the Power Vision, we can't really do anything. But we see here that the program did open, so we're good to go. So the next thing we're going to do after we close out of this is we are going to go to the update client. So we double click that, highlight it, right click it, and hit open. And it'll say no device connected. So what this is going to do is when we actually connect our Power Vision CX, it's going to read the information from that, and then we'll hit check for updates, and if it says, hey, there's an update detected, we'll hit update and it'll do that. All right, so we're going to go ahead and close that, and we're going to wait on the firmware because we're not sure if we're going to need that yet. So the next thing I'm going to do, I'm going to close all of this out, and we're going to get the Power Vision CX ready to connect. Alright, so I've got the Power Vision CX unboxed. It's going to come with a quick start instruction, and if you get it from FuelMoto, you'll actually have a little instruction that, in addition to what DynoJet provides, for when you initially connect it to the bike, which I did find very helpful. So we unboxed it, and you're going to have two cables. One cable that connects to the Power Vision CX and then connects to your computer, and then the other one that connects from the Power Vision CX to the motorcycle. So if you look here, here's the Power Vision CX. It comes with this neat little plug. I don't know if you can see that. This is where the connection is for the bike cable. And then on the bottom right here, I know it might be difficult to see, but you just flip up the little rubber dongle, and then we're going to connect it to the USB cable that I have plugged in. There we go, and you see it starts powering up right there, Power Vision CX. So another thing I want to do, here we can look at all of the files that come with it, the stock files. On this one, we're going to have my files on there, but we're going to minimize that. I'm going to go ahead and copy or cut. I'm going to right click and hit cut for the update client. We're going to minimize that folder, and then I'm going to right click on the desktop and then paste it. And what that's going to do is, let's put everything over here for my Power Vision, right? So here's the update client. So I'm going to click on that, and we're going to see it's going to connect. It says connected to Power Vision. We're going to check for updates, and it says there currently are no updates. Now if there were, it would say, hey, an update is available. Do you want to update? You hit OK, and then you would select update here and then close. So right now we know that the Power Vision is up to its latest thing, so we're good to go to connect it to the motorcycle. So I'm going to close this out, and then we're going to take this, disconnect it from the computer, and then I'm going to show you how to connect it to the motorcycle to retrieve your to retrieve your stock tune. Alright, so here we have the bike with the left panel cover removed right here. All you got to do is grab the panel and pull it off away from the bike, and it'll come out. So we have to get the stock tune file from the motorcycle, and we do that by connecting to this port right here. So you're going to need this cable that has this end that goes to the bike, and this end here that plugs right in to the Power Vision CX. So plug that in until it snaps, and then this right here just pulls up. You just squeeze this little button right here, and it pulls up, and it mates to the Power Vision CX here. Once we have that mated, then you turn the motorcycle on, and then you'll see it starting to boot up. Now mine came, and I've already read the stock tune file, but when you get yours, it'll pop up and say, you know, a motorcycle read is required. And what that does is it basically goes to the motorcycle, verifies that it's one of the ones that are compatible, and then it pairs itself to that. You just basically select OK. Once you select OK, it's going to read the file. Now what that does is it's a very large file. It takes about 15 minutes, and it's going to write that file into an STK stock file onto the actual unit itself. And then what we're going to do is we're going to take that file, and there's a text file that gets downloaded as well, and we're going to send that to FuelMoto or whoever your tuner may be, and then they send us the updated tune for that specific stock file. So we downloaded that, and now we're going to go in and we're going to see how we send that file to FuelMoto. Now we have the stock files loaded onto the Power Vision CX, and we need to send those to our tuner. For me, it's going to be FuelMoto, so that they can provide us the updated DynoJet tune for the upgrades that we have done. So we're going to connect it like we did previously to make sure there were no updates, and once I connect it, it should open up a folder that shows all the files on there. Or not. Oh, there we go. So what I did, if you remember the first time I opened the folder, it had a whole bunch of DJT files. Those are files that DynoJet puts on there that are really just a waste of space for this application, because we don't use those. What happens is this stock file here and this text file are the two files we're going to need. So what we're going to do is we're going to highlight both of them, and we're going to copy them, and the PVCX file that we created, we're going to paste them in there. So once they get pasted in there, the next step is going to be to go to the FuelMoto website. So here we're at the FuelMoto website, which is FuelMotoUSA, all one word, .com. Over here on the right hand side, you'll see a link labeled Fuel Maps. So you click on that, and then when you scroll down, this is where you actually fill out the form to update your map. So I'm going to put in here PVCX video. Fuel tuner, we're going to select the Power Vision CX, and then the request type is going to be, I need my first fuel map. So we're going to add all the stuff in here that's going to be applicable. It's a 2017 Indian Chieftain Limited 111. Exhaust system is going to be the Jackpot Head Pipe, the VooDoo, and then under other performance mods we're going to put stage 2 cams. So once we scroll down, notes for technician, if you want to add anything, we have to upload the files. So what I do is I kind of minimize the screen and drag it to the side, and then I find my other screen that has the two folders on it, or the two files. I drag that to the other side. So it says right here the ECU read will be the STK file. Drag it. Whoops. There, it's uploaded. And then the info.txt uploaded, and then we just hit submit request. So I've already done that, and I'm going to show you what happens next. So here's the email response from FuelMoto with the new map that we're going to update to the PVCX. So we're going to download that. It's going to show up in the downloads folder. So we're going to go ahead and close that. And then I'm going to right click on it, and I'm going to cut it, and then I'm going to go to the PVCX file, and then we're going to paste it. So right now I'm going to show you what you can do if you want to just not modify the tune at all. All you have to do then is open up the Power Vision folder right here. There's the stock file, and then minimize that, go to this. You can just right click, hit copy, and then paste it into the Power Vision folder itself, which is actually on the Power Vision. So right now we could then stop, disconnect the Power Vision, and then go ahead and load the tune on the bike, and we'll be good to go. So if you want to do that, go ahead. I'm going to go ahead and modify this tune so that way I can update the idle. All right, so we're going to close that out, and then I'll show you how to do that here shortly. Now I want to modify the tune to update the idle. So there's a few ways you can do it. Normally I just double click on the folder where we have it saved, find the file I want to update, which is our DJT file, and I double click that. Now I still have the Power Vision CX connected to the computer, so I'll show you where that comes in handy a little bit later. So we download that. Here, like you see all these things that we can monitor or update. We're going to go to idle. I need to update the idle speed. So what I want to do is I want to raise everything by 0.05 from the 84.4 degrees, the 118.4 degrees, and the 152 degrees. So what I do is you could highlight all three of these, and then I could put in here 0.05, and then, you know, if I want to add it, I could hit the plus sign and everything goes up by 0.05. Okay, or let's say I just knew I wanted to set one to 1,000. I could just type in 1 and then hit the equal sign, and that'll raise it to 1,000. Or I could go back and do 0.05 again and subtract it to make it an easy transition. The next thing I want to do is go down to the idle speed 3D table, and I want to take all of these. I'm going to highlight every single one of them, and I'm going to add 0.05 RPMs, which is going to raise us to 900 RPMs. And then I come up here, I click Save As, and you see up here it says it's actually going to write it to the Power Vision itself. That's where it's going to save it. But I want to save it into my folder on the desktop that we had, and then I'm going to type in, FuelMoto idle update 900, and then hit save. Notes, we're gonna update the idle to 900 RPM, and you'll see when we actually load the tune, the notes will actually show up on the device. So we hit OK, it's closing it out, everything's saved. We're gonna close this down. So now when we go here, there it is, FuelMoto idle update. So all I have to do is right click, copy that, and then open the folder on the Power Vision CX and paste it in there. And then once it's in there, we just connect it back to the bike. So now we have the tune file loaded onto the Power Vision CX. So now we have to get it onto the motorcycle. So I've connected it to the motorcycle and turned it on the same way we did when we got the stock file. I'm going to click the button, and we're going to go to Flash Tune. Whoops. This arrow that kind of looks like enter is actually back. And then the down arrow, we go to Flash Tune. And then we're going to go down to the one that we loaded, which is the FuelMoto updated idle tune. Then we're going to hit enter, and then it says file 1 tuner update idle to 900 RPM. That's the note that I put in there. Press OK to begin flash. So you hit OK. Lock to vehicle. Yes. And then it's going to go through its process. Alright, so it's finally downloaded the tune. Took approximately 5 minutes or so. It says turn the key off and then wait 45 seconds for the ECU to power down completely. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. Alright, so I've waited the 45 seconds, and now we're going to go ahead and start up the bike to make sure everything took. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to let it warm up and then show that the idle is going to, basically stabilize around 900 once it's at full temperature. All right, so let's see. Alright, so the bike is warmed up now, and I want to show you guys, that everything was successful, and this is how we can verify it. So if you look here where the RPMs are listed, after the bike got to full temperature, it would basically go from like 800 down to 750, then 800, then 850, kind of back and forth. It would stabilize generally around 750 to 800 or so, but may go up or down, and every once in a while it would go down to 700. And the issue I was having was, I don't know what happened, when they did the stage 2 cams or something, if the tune wasn't optimal from the dealer, but after initial takeoff, like usually the first or second stop sign I would hit when I basically came to a stop, the bike may have, stalled out, and then I would have to restart it. So I wanted to just up the idle a little bit, so we set it to 900. So I'm going to go ahead and start it and show you how it basically stabilizes at 900 and then goes from there. So here we go. Alright everybody, so that's the end of the Power Vision CX video. We went from unboxing it to installing the software, connecting the Power Vision CX and making sure it was the most up to date, how to connect it to the motorcycle, download the tune. We sent the tunes off to FuelMoto. They sent us the modified tune, and then we did a little modifications of our own to adjust the idle, reprogrammed the bike, and then started it up. Super simple, very easy to do. I hope this gives you the confidence to be able to do this yourself instead of paying somebody a lot of money. If you're doing a very basic upgrade like we did the air intake, the Jackpot Head Pipe, and then the tune. Can be easily done at home with minimal tools and a little bit of experience and some patience, and you'll have great success. So I look forward to riding the bike and seeing how much performance it gets, and I'll provide an update. All right, so good riding.